All right, we're getting everybody in. Exciting stuff. All right.
So, Chris, we're actually not on right now. So, why don't you, before everybody gets on, why don't you tell us your most embarrassing moment?
He's wrong.
Oh,
Also, you don't have to answer that.
Oh, I
okay.
guess we are live. Never mind.
Oh, way to go, Rob. I think I'm maybe going to think twice about putting anything in your blog from now on. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think you advertise anyway, but I wasn't going to go
Oh,
there.
yes, we do. We do like
I know.
twice a month. Yes.
I know. Thank you. And thank you. We appreciate it. My granddaughter appreciates it. She just doesn't know it yet.
That's right. We're putting together her little college fund. I get it.
I give her $25 a month in her, what is it, 529 plan.
Yep.
So she'll be able to afford to go to the local JC in 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. We got a lot of folks on. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic week so far. I'll go ahead and briefly kick us off, and then we'll dive into some fun things that I know you guys are all here for. Hey, if we have not met before, my name is Melissa Langdale, and I am the president and COO of the Mortgage Collaborative. As always, joined by our trusty sidekick, Rob Chrisman today. And
A sidekick. I got a promotion.
can you be my sidekick today?
I'll do my. Go ahead.
I think
Go
Rob
ahead.
needs a cake. I think Rob
There's
might
no
need a
upside to talking about sidekicks.
All right, all right. Well, today's special guest is Chris Harrington. Chris, you are the CEO and co-founder of Usherpa, and we are super excited to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. And it's a great way to spend a Friday afternoon.
Yes, yes. Well, while we get everybody in, I like to ask a few fun trivia questions, and they all do have a theme, but I'm not going to tell everybody what the theme is yet. I'm sure you guys will guess it as we get through this. All right, so our first question is, what is the only state in the US to turn down hosting the Olympics? We just wrapped up the Olympics, right? Timely. All right, we got some guesses for Colorado, Vermont, Texas.
Rhode Island?
Rob, you think Rhode Island?
Was Rhode Island
Iowa?
ever in contention? I don't know.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was Colorado.
It's totally Colorado. 1976. John, you're so great. 1976 Winter Olympics. They turned down hosting that in Denver. That's right.
Yeah, and that's why we don't get to have it again, I think.
Yeah.
One strike, you're out. For those of you that don't know, I'm in Denver. So Usherpa is
Yes.
headquartered in Denver.
Yes, and TMC is going to be in Denver in just a few short weeks for our conference. So super excited about that. Okay, I've got another fun Colorado related trivia question. All right, a chicken from, I know, Rob, hold on, you got to let me get all the way through it. A chicken from Fruita, Colorado named Mike became a national celebrity in the 1940s, when he lived for 18 months without what usually a central body part. So what body part was he missing for 18 months that made him famous? This is a chicken. Dang.
I'm thinking the chats are correct.
These chats are blowing up.
If it was a rooster, we could make all kinds of jokes. But it's not. It's a chicken, probably. Yeah.
It's a chicken. Yep, it's a chicken. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, everybody knows this. I had no idea. Yeah, it is his head. His head was missing for 18 months. So there you go. Some crazy Colorado related trivia.
And I've never heard that one. So that was in what, 1940? I am writing that down.
Yeah, in the 40s.
All right.
So while we're talking about animals, Chris, you want Satchmo to have another appearance?
Oh, all right. Does
Wow,
everybody
we got
want
a
to
lot
see
of
their brand new
animal
puppy?
lovers
Yes,
He's a
on here.
yes, we
cutie.
Go
want to see
ahead.
your puppy. We
Okay,
want to see
come
him.
on, then. Come. I guess you are going to make a guest appearance. So everyone, this is little Satchmo. He is a 4.5-month-old little Cavapoo. Say hi, Satchmo. He's like,
He's
Very
so
nice.
cute.
he's
So
been in his little playpen having a bully stick.
I
A
love it.
what? Having a what?
A bully stick. It's kind of the new rawhide. So it
And
looks
what
like
is that made out of?
some sort of beef
Yeah, don't answer
thing.
that. Don't answer it,
But
Chris. Don't
he
answer it.
loves it.
Let's not
He
go
Go
loves
there.
ahead,
it.
Rob.
All right. Well, Satchmo, actually, I'm glad that he made an appearance because I put him on my LinkedIn and he blew up. I've never had another LinkedIn post that I think I had like 4,000 impressions of him in the office chewing on a little notepad. So um, he's our little mascot.
I love it. All right.
Very cool.
Well, so for those that don't know a lot about Usherpa, tell us a little bit about Usherpa, Chris.
Oh, no, great. Thanks. Well, we like to say we were born in a branch and forged in the meltdown. So we're kind of the OGs, the original gangsters. We started doing this in 1995. I don't think there was anybody out there doing mortgage automation and CRM in 1995. Actually, one of our pieces, which is an inside lending that goes every Monday to referral partners about the market, started out as a blast fax. Does anybody ever remember getting blast faxes? So a lot of the marketing that we do really came from our founder, Dan Harrington's need as a loan officer. It was things he was doing with his database of realtors and customers. So that's a little bit about us. And then, so we've been doing it a really long time. And then I think another thing that's really, we like to call ourselves a relationship engagement platform versus a CRM, something a little bit different because really it is so much about relationships. This business is about relationships. It always has been, it still is. So how can we kind of engage those relationships? So what we kind of do is we really focus on ease of use. I was a I was an actually I started in 1992 in the industry as a receptionist. So I've been a mortgage receptionist, a mortgage processor, a mortgage assistant, and now this. And so we know loan officers, so we focus on ease of use. We also really try to focus on automation again, because we know loan officers, try to do everything we can for them and try to make things simple. We have a big sign when you walk into our office in Denver that just says simplify. So we try to really focus on that. And then we do so a lot of done for you marketing. And then I think another thing that really sets us apart is service. Again, as I said, we know loan officers, so we know they need help. They need somebody to call and walk them through things. So that's a little bit about us. I mean, we are a CRM. We do everything that you think of as CRM, but thought I'd kind of let you know a few things that are a little different about us.
You know, the highest producing LOs that I've ever met are just exceptional database marketers. They have it like down to a science. And it's not just, about kind of sourcing opportunities, it's about how they build relationships within that database. What are some of the tools that you're seeing LOs kind of leverage to make sure that they're not just sourcing the data of what opportunities might be out there, but actually leveraging it to build relationships? Or folks, I'm just curious what you're seeing from some of your lenders.
Again, you hit it on the head. It is relationships. And I think it's much more than being, like you said, a database marketer going in and like mining my database for this. It's about fostering those long-term relationships. And again, I think the key is content. I think the key is having a system or a process, or even if it's doing it yourself with, your wife is your assistant or your husband is your assistant or your college kid helping you. It's about sending out consistent content that resonates because you do a great job during the loan, then if you don't stay in touch, they're going to forget about you.
Yeah.
They don't. And if you think about it, most people, I mean, loan officer's name's not on the servicing coupon. A lot of people aren't even paying their mortgage to the company that did that. So a loan officer needs to stay in touch with them. And I think of a database as a 401k. So just think about like your 401k. If you start your 401k and never continue to add to it, and never continue to nurture it, you're not going to have anything when you retire. So that's of what your database is. You need to consistently make sure that you're adding to it, keeping it up to date, adding your referral partners, making sure your new closings go in. But you have to nurture that database. And the way to do that, honestly, to keep that relationship is content. And again, whether you're doing it yourself or you're creating a system to do it. And I think the real key is the content needs to resonate. It needs to be about the person who's getting it. It needs to add value to them. What is in this for me as the customer or the realtor that's getting this content? How is this helping me? It can't always be, let's do a deal, let's do a deal, let's do a deal, because nobody wants to be sold anymore. People want to feel like people know you and that they care about you. So that's, I think, a really big key. And then, if you've nurtured that database, then when we have a market shift like we have coming, then you've earned that trust for them to come back to you and to do that deal. Like I was on a client call this morning. Their customer open rate was 60.8% of content. So 7 out of 10 of their customers are opening content. And this was in the second quarter of relevant content that's going out, to nurture that relationship. So if we've got 7 out of 10 opening now, we have a market shift. They are just well poised to be taking advantage of the market shift. If they hadn't built that relationship, they wouldn't be. Because people would be like, I don't know who this is. Delete. And then the other thing I think I see is kind of a multi-prong approach where it's not just email, direct mail. I still really believe when we look at the top producers using our system, they're all still utilizing direct mail. And then obviously we're seeing a lot more doing social as well. So I think if you kind of do that combined approach, it's making a big difference.
That's interesting.
How often do you think, Chris, a loan officer should touch? I guess, is that the technical term? Touch, whether it's a video or direct mail or an email, a previous client?
I would say on the bare minimum, at least a couple of times a month would be good. And then so I would do like at least some sort of a monthly touch. And then you want to reach out to them on their birthday. That is such an easy call to make. Hi, hi, Rob, this is Chris at ABC Mortgage. We did your loan. I just want to call and wish you a happy birthday. I hope you have a great year. What an easy call. And if I don't get you, I leave you a message. So birthdays, the loan checkups, and at least monthly, and then add in some additional touches, whether that is, something is a season, winter, spring, summer, fall. We all know the housing market kind of follows those seasons. I would say reach out to them during the holiday, and then make some very personal phone call reach outs on top of that. And then you've just built a customer for life.
Yeah, as I understand it, there is a strategy to reaching out and the message that you give to a family or a recent home buyer. And you're not trying to sell them on a mortgage a month after they move in. It's more the message about, hey, this is how, when you plant something, or this is, the deal with, buying a new mattress, or hey, here's a comparison about microwaves and things like that a new owner would typically value. And then, don't sell them anything, just inform them. And to
Absolutely.
kind of remind them that you exist, because I don't know the statistics. You probably know better than I do, but it seems like when people get a loan, they remember the person, they may not remember the company. And in fact, oftentimes I'll be talking to somebody, just, like whoever, friend, and I'll say, oh, where'd you get your loan? And they'll say, oh, I don't remember the company, but I got it through Susie Smith. They'll remember the person, but maybe not the company.
Yeah.
Well, and that's retail origination. I mean, it is about those relationships. And you're absolutely right. Like I said, nobody wants to be sold. So you want to give them things that they have a value. And, I have loan officers, very successful, top producing loan officers, back to the direct mail, recipe cards. We still offer recipe cards, and it's the size to go into a recipe box because people love recipes. Or, winter, spring, summer, fall, and like we'll do a cute dog jumping in a pool for summer. People put those things up on the refrigerator. or they keep an email and print it like, oh, okay, I need to kind of get ready for winterizing my home. What do I need to do? And that builds that trusted advisor. And then sometimes it's things about, you were talking about your granddaughter's 529. Maybe, it's an article about how to research for 529s and to save for college. And that's somebody, whether you're a grandparent saving for your child, or you're a parent that actually are trying to save for your child, or maybe you're a future parent. Those are things that resonate with everyone, and they get shared too. They get forwarded to different people. And then, like I said, because you've built that trust and you've built that relationship, then when they're in the market for a new mortgage, whether it's to buy a new home, cash out refinance, to remodel their kitchen, or with the upcoming market shift, people that have closed in the last few years that want to get a lower rate, they remember who you are and they're going to come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Given my social circle, it would probably get the most traction if I sent out exercises to do while serving time. But that's a topic for a different.
Yeah, Greg agrees with the recipe cards. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do a new recipe every quarter.
I still have a blanket that a realtor gave me years ago where it's got our name on it, right? Like some of those like personal approaches to things that allow for customers to see that you hear them and see them. It can make a big difference, I think. I used to do thankful calls every year at Thanksgiving, right? Like right before holidays, just that recognition of, I'm so thankful for you and your business, and
and people remember that. Absolutely. But when you talk about the personal, one of my favorite new gifts that we have as a closing gift is it's a puzzle that's personalized with a photo. So go and, have the realtor, great relationship with the realtor, take a picture of the family in front of their home, or take one of the really nice professional photos from again, great call out to the listing agent, from the appraisal, and then do a puzzle with a photo of the home that they just bought. And then you have your information on it. We've all got that game closet or that game bin where these things just stay around forever. I mean, kind of goes back, like I said, you still have that blanket. I mean, again, anything that you can do, even if it's automated, that feels personal, is a game changer.
Yeah.
So Chris, do when you enter a new company, enterprise, whatever you want to call it, does that typically come from loan officers who hear about you telling senior management, or is it more senior management learning about your company and telling loan officers about it, and you get implemented that way?
It's really more from the ground up. It's from loan officers. We're definitely a boutique. We've stayed boutique by design. And so that's a lot of it, where a loan officer used us before somewhere else, maybe came into the company and was like, I want this system. This system really worked, again, because of that ease of use and the automation. So I would say it's typically that way. Or the other way would be a company maybe hears about us from another company. So very much kind of word of mouth is really more of our kind of marketing strategy.
I'm curious with, obviously inventory is an issue across the country right now. And it's causing some longer sales cycles than normal as a result. How are your loan officers or your customers kind of approaching that? How do they differentiate themselves over that longer period of time to make sure that they're still top of mind as that customer's finally able to find a home?
Again, I think it goes back to relationships and consistency and staying in touch. So one of the things we've been doing for our enterprise clients, for really, as soon as the market shifted, is we've gone in and mined their database for prospects that are in their database that haven't had a loan before, that at least, so we don't know that they're a renter, right? But they don't have an active loan in the system and they're not in the middle of doing a loan. And we have been dripping on them in addition to that just regular nurturing content, like you were talking about, Rob, like here's things to do, or here's the, since we had the puppy, here are poisonous things for dogs, those type of informational things. And then what we've been doing is dripping on them with a series of prospect campaigns that are about the value of home ownership. Because yes, rates have been high, but they were a lot higher. I mean, we've looked at those rate charts. They're not the 12, 13%. I think everyone just got so used to rates being so low for so long. We kind of had that mind shift when they were at 7. Seven's still not a horrible rate. And but the value of home ownership is still there. So we've been doing spring into a new home. June, we did home ownership month. We've done new year, new home. So we've been staying in touch with those prospects that way. And we do what's called like company pushed LO branded. And then it's back to basics too. Like Melissa, you were talking about making those thankful calls on Thanksgiving. In this market, you need to be making some of those phone calls. So, but again, loan officers, well, where do I start calling? So what we've been doing is doing a dashboard telling them, call this person. This person opened your email. This person opened your email 3 times. So they can make very targeted, high payoff phone calls. So that was one way we've been doing it, is just the normal nurturing campaigns combined with just very season specific value of home ownership. And then some of the results, I think we had about 11 to 15 enterprise clients tap into that. And we generated $1.2 billion in pipeline volume with low inventory and a high rate environment. And when I looked at this as of the end of Q2, we had 534 million of that had already funded. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And then another thing is, again, phone calls. How do I follow up? And how do I follow up on a timely basis? Because that's what we've heard a lot. I've got a lot of prospects. How do I stay in touch with them? So that would be with workflows. We have a system called pipelines. I know some loan officers use Excel worksheets or old-fashioned paper, but however that is, figure out what your workflow is to stay in touch with them, and then come up with a system to remind you to follow up. And then again, make some of those back to basic phone calls.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to ask you, you're running a vendor. I don't know if vendor is slowly becoming a politically incorrect term, but a third party provider. How, in the last few years, lenders have been under tremendous cost cutting pressure. And I hear across the board, lenders going back to vendors saying, hey, we need to cut costs. We need to do this. We need to do that. How do you handle those calls when somebody said, boy, we just can't, we can't afford you anymore, or can't you do anything on price? What's a constructive way to deal with that situation? How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, we've been really fortunate that we haven't had that too much, because I think they've really, senior management, I mean, I know they're looking at every dime, but they know that it's important to stay in touch with their database. Like, I'll give you an example. So one of the things that we do with our enterprise clients is we really try to partner and not be vendors. We almost are like, we try to be, I'm not like obviously what TMC is with the collaborative, but we like to do that. We get on quarterly calls with all of our enterprise clients and we share ideas. We say, hey, I've got a client who's having a lot of success with cash out refinances, targeting former people with high DTI, or we're doing this. And then we also kind of give them their ROI. Like, again, I was on a call this morning, and one of the things is we're telling them how much of your business in this last quarter was repeat. And most of my enterprise clients in the second quarter, which we know what the second quarter was like, was anywhere from 10 to 13% of repeat business. And so I say to them, you would not have had that $54 million, or depending on their size, $10 million of volume if you hadn't stayed in touch, because again, they would have forgotten who you were if your loan officers weren't staying in touch with them. So that's really, I think we really try to do a true partnership and show them how this is working. And the other thing is we share like open rates. I kind of shared with you earlier those open rates. Most of our clients have customer open rates around 50%. Prospects are always north of 50%, and our realtors are typically in the high 40s. And so when I kind of say 4 out of 10 people are opening this, 7 out of 10 are opening this, and then we show them how many different pieces have gone out, how many tasks their loan officers have created, then they see the value, and we just haven't had that.
Yeah, usually if I want to boost my open rate, Chris, in my emails, in the subject line, I'll put something like, your social security benefits are changing.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
click below. That always works.
That always works. Yeah. It either increases your open rates or increases your opt-out spam rates. I'm not sure. You might be getting those two confused, Rob.
Ah,
Rob's
Yeah.
oh, why? Wish I had this conversation years
Rob,
ago.
like I could have had a V8.
Oh, you're showing your age there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm an Uber nerd. I love technology. I love a lot of things that folks are trying to do right now to leverage generative AI. And there are some folks that are looking at it for customer communication, to try to build those kind of nurture campaigns as you've talked about. I'm just really curious, are there things we shouldn't automate? We can use generative AI for a whole bunch of things, but are there things that, as folks are looking at, like, how do I leverage the future to help me to grow my business? Are there things they should not look to automate?
I think they should not look to automate when somebody reaches out. I think they can use like Chat GPT or Gen AI to maybe create content. And again, you can't just go out there and just say, all right, World Wide Web and AI, create a fabulous prospect rent to own campaign. That's not going to work. It has to have a starting point. So that's one thing we're looking at doing, is taking our 30 plus years of content, which, if you think about it, we've seen a lot of markets in 30 years, including the 2008 meltdown, and taking that content and allowing that to be kind of a Gen AI for, again, that nurturing content. I hear a lot of LOs talk about chatbots, and maybe they're thinking back when it was the boom, and they're just, how can we get a chatbot to get back to this customer? And I really do not believe in that. You have worked so hard to build that relationship. You've worked so hard to build that trust, and you've gotten this customer. That's the holy grail. The customer has called you and reached out and wants a question and wants help. I do not think that that should be given to a chatbot. I really strongly believe that it's a relationship-based business, and you need to talk to that person on the phone, or at least make sure somebody trusted on your team is doing that. But that's just my opinion.
Rob, is that something you're considering for your commentary? Have a Chat GPT write it?
As you know, Melissa, I don't even know what GPT stands for, and I've heard it a dozen times. But if you ask I think 9 out of 10 people don't know what the actual GPT stands for. GTP, GPT. Anyway,
Yeah. No, I knew the answer to that.
I'm gonna slip my, so Chris, Melissa always like throws, Rob, you can ask the last question. So I'm gonna preempt you, Melissa, and ask my last question now.
Okay.
Which is, Chris, where did the name of the company come from?
Okay, well, it's we've always felt like we've helped the loan officer. So a Sherpa, right? A Sherpa is a guide. A Sherpa helps the person up the mountain. So that was kind of just a take on that. It's all about you, the loan officer, and you, Sherpa, is your guide to kind of help you through and help you up that mountain to success by building those relationships, automating, because I mean, I've been there. We know what it's like. Automate everything that we can for a loan officer, but make it personal, make it branded, and then make it really easy for them to do the things that's the highest and best use of their time. And that is back to those face-to-face or in-person calls and reaching out and nurturing their database above and beyond everything. So that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you know.
Rob, Mark Renault says GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
Okay.
Shirley also agrees that the personal connection is really, really important. I agree with you. Frankly, all those platforms, although they are making some headway and getting better, it's really difficult for them to sound like you, right? It's hard to make it sound like a person and not kind of a robot going through, a conversation. Would never come up with words like wonky or
Well, yeah, and
that,
Yeah,
so.
the borrower, built a relationship with you. They know you say, weird things or, and I've had a V8 or whatever. And then to be able to have a chatbot have that personality. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe someday. I just don't believe it's there now. And again, I think in order to build something like that, there's got to be a lot of scripting and a lot of work. You just can't have it, go from scratch. So it's not something we're looking at because I think in the 30 minutes you've heard about Usherpa, I think that probably makes sense. Not something we're looking at.
Yeah, we actually have a special session on this in Denver for those of you that are going to join us. And it's about personalizing ChatGPT for your world. So excited to explore that with everybody. But Chris, we're all up at time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate the conversation, learned a ton, and look forward to seeing you in Denver in just a few weeks.
Yeah, we are too. We're really excited about that. We've got a little bit of a partner showcase. We're going to dive a little bit more into that pipelines and habit replication. So that's kind of another thing. So yeah, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. And Rob, it was nice to finally meet you. It's not in person, but we're getting there.
There we go. And Chris, I want you to use the word wonky this weekend. All right, work that in.
Okay.
People
I will.
throw challenge words at me like, oh, put this word or put this term in your opening paragraph, like, ramma jamma,
Okay.
whatever. And,
All right. I can use wonky. I've got one for you, whopper jawed.
What?
Okay.
That has to be from a Kentucky thing, but something's messed up. It's whopper jawed.
Okay.
So
learn something new every day.
Email that to me, Chris, please.
I will. Next thing we know, we're going to see that in Rob's blog. It's like, somebody told me about this word whopper job, and I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a new one. It's a new one.
Great.
All right. Thank you very much.
Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks
Happy Friday.
for joining us. Thanks for everybody for joining us as well. We will see you again here next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.